So that's the situation in America, but what about here? Is Britain's tech industry similarly sexist? With me now is Anne-Marie Imafidon, last year's Young IT Professional of the Year and founder of a project to inspire women into science and technology. Well, is it as bad here, and why?
It is as bad, but not for the same reasons. We do have a culture that isn't as welcoming and isn't as supportive and isn't as meritocratic as maybe it should be within technology companies. So we have a lack of sponsorship for women in these companies. We have a lack of them being hired for roles that they actually are, capable and more than capable of doing. And we have a lack of them being given positions of responsibility where they can then, get on and feel fulfilled in their roles.
Are fewer women seeking out this career or not?
Absolutely. Yes, I mean we had the pipeline problem, and they mentioned it there in the VT, but I don't think that that's the entirety of the problem.
Well, why do you think that is?
That we don't have many of them going in. I think that there's a lack of role models, there's a lack of understanding of what the technology roles are from parents, influencers, and from the girls and the children themselves.
And is there an off-putting culture?
But that's not visible to them at that age, so they're not able to see that culture. It's when you're actually in the industry and you hear stories of women being called maybe the C word at work, or women not being given roles.
You've heard of that yourself?
Absolutely. Women not being given roles because they don't tie up their hair when they're at work, even women being harassed at work, and being shunned after they've reported it and gone to the HR, who should really be on their side.
I mean, that makes the technology industry sound worse than the rest of the mainstream.
Absolutely, because that's never happened to me.
Well, why do you think that is? Is there something about? I mean, is there something about geeks?
Possibly. Something about the imagery that we've had around geeks, around maybe how they're portrayed in the media, around certain TV shows and certain films, maybe showing one side of geeks and their culture, and not showing that there are normal geeks, there are good guys that work in technology, there are very inclusive people. So
what do you think those big companies should do?
I think they definitely need to be sponsoring a lot more, sponsoring these women. We have a lot of talk about mentoring schemes and networks. We need to go that step further and have people put their necks on the line to promote these women, give them the responsibilities that they're due. But also, I think we need to have a culture of accountability where people aren't bystanders, as they've been called, where they do call out, where you see those emails coming around from people like Evan.
And is race a similar problem? I mean, you're a black woman. Are you doubly rare?
I am. I am doubly rare. Racism does show its head in various forms, but I think that there's a problem with diversity generally. So if you look at the Google numbers, you can see that most of them are what we call pale, male, and stale, and they're of a certain race, of a certain gender, and of a certain type. And if you don't look like that, then it's almost like, oh, this culture isn't ready for you. So I think we need to be definitely more diverse in our outlook and how we interact with our colleagues.
Well, thank you very much indeed for coming in, Anne-Marie Imafidon. Thanks.